Check 1, 2. What's up? What's up? Hey, good morning, everybody. Mark Conte reporting. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully we're not going to buffer away. So, boy, what a story I got for you guys. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I was out last night. Fucking, you wouldn't believe. You're not going to believe what I saw. Oh, man. Right? Somebody said, some of the dicks in the audience said, oh, Conte, you're like Trump. You sit down and report on everything after it happens. You're not out there in the street. You're not a real reporter. So you know what I did, man? I said, fuck you. What I did was I went out last night, right, into the great unknown, right? I was a little afraid. I was a little apprehensive, right? Getting in bed with a bunch of thugs and brutal fuckers, right? People looting stores and shit, right? But I wanted to find out exactly how the violence evolves. Right? Is it the same people? Right? Is it the peaceful protesters that evolve into hysteria and violence? Is it the same crew? And ironically, it is. Right? There isn't this notion that things are coming in from out of town, like other forces are coming in from out of town and infiltrating this. What starts out as a very peaceful movement is inaccurate. It's actually it's an evolution. I'm going to play it. I have a whole video, right? So I have about an hour, a little over an hour. Yesterday I didn't post anything because I was compiling my video stuff, right? And I didn't know where it was going to lead. And I set out in the daytime to try to find out. The question I wanted to know is the violence organic? Does it stem out of the peaceful protest? Does it does something change as the night goes on, right? So what I found was, I tell you, I saw something that was so amazing. It's just the sheer togetherness of the crowd as it evolves. So what happens is it starts out as a peaceful rally. The rally is always moving, but nobody knows which way it's going to go. There's a couple of leaders in the front that are steering the thing down the street. So as it's very peaceful, it snakes through different blocks and up major streets. I walked 13 miles yesterday with these guys. 13 miles. That's a lot of walking, right? And what I saw is thousands of police getting outduped at every single turn. Every single turn, the protesters were ahead of the police, snaking in up this block, down that block. It was like watching the Indians, right? When you remember when the British invaded New York and they hid up in the trees and they saw the British lined up with their drums and their red suits on, and they were ready to have have a fight with the other side, because that's how they did it. They line up and they shoot at each other. And the Indians were up in the trees shooting, say, look, they're sitting targets, and they were shooting at the British, and they killed them all in the first couple of rounds until the British figured out that the Indians are not going to play their game. And that's precisely what the protesters did in New York City. And I'm going to release the video. I don't have it. I'm editing right now, so I don't have the whole thing. It's not going to be a hard edit. It's just going to be sewing all the pieces together from my pocket, from my camera. And it's like 60 clips all sewed together. I actually did some walk and talk yesterday that I didn't get to post because I was moving around, right? So that's in there too. But you'll see the evolution of how the protests started out very, very peaceful with happy, loving people. The messaging is the same. The messaging is exactly the same. I had thought that maybe it was a compilation of a lot of ideas coming together, a lot of issues coming together, but it turns out that the issue is pretty clear. And that issue is police violence against the black youth of America. Black Lives Matter. To you and I, to me, the issue is profoundly. It's just profound that people would be so driven over this police violence thing, right? And when the bankers are ripping off the country, when $1 trillion is siphoned out of the economy, creating income and wealth inequality. To me, it's that's the essence of what a rebellion should fight for. But in this case, the rebels are focused on police brutality, mainly aimed at black youth, black male youth. I can't breathe. Black Lives Matter. Fuck the police. The police are terrorists. The police are killers. That is the theme going throughout. There's no need to talk to them. There's signs. You read the signs and you get the essence and the gist of what the hell they're saying, right? Police brutality. Hold on a second. Mainly aimed at. So that's all I wanted to say. Let's get into some stuff right here, and I'm going to release that video. I'm going to release my footage definitely today, by probably before maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. All right. So it's going to take a while to just cut it together. And you got to see it. Watch the whole thing. It's going to be over an hour and 15 minutes, hour 20 minutes, and you're going to see the evolution. I got everything. I got the peaceful, and it ends in violence. It goes from peaceful to violent, smashing, crashing, and such. I'll give you a little sneak peek. All right? So this is some of. Oops, sorry, I'm not there. I'm over here. So I'll just show you some of what I caught. These are just pocket shots. Right? This is one of the clips towards the end of the night. You can see the clear looting, the breaking of the windows. I was totally embedded with this troop. I was moving with them for hours, for 4 hours, up and down blocks, walking mile after mile. That's how they get this. That's how they create these pockets of emptiness, and then the destruction happens. That's how they're doing it. Are they outwitting the police? You bet your ass they're outwitting the police. Look at this. They got this 2,000 police trailing them, and they get away with it. How do they do it? It's fucking amazing is how they do it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Oops. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. This shit was crazy. So Marcus Conte reporting. Kindly, I haven't updated my site yet, but kindly go to marcusconte.com and become a Patreon of this channel. If you already are a Patreon of this channel, I thank you so much for your support. This is viewer funded. This is YouTube, PayPal, Patreon. You whack the tip jar. That's PayPal. You whack Patreon. And you become a member for as little as $2 a month. Right? And thank you all for doing it. I'm pretty pleased with Sugar. Kindly become a Patreon. It's very important. If you value this sort of news, please become a Patreon. Please do it. And my aim is true. I sit in the truth, and I'm your advocate, for lack of a better term. So I just want to skim through. Hey, what's up? Good morning, everybody. I'm not ignoring you in the chat. Good morning, Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Chris Mike is here. Vandaloo is here. Jerry Fleming, Miss Chicago, Camo Masso, Paul Q, Christian Lifetime, New York City, Carol Hayes, Miss Mizo Hungry, Judy Zimshad, Paul Q, what's up? Vinny DiMartini, don't be a dick in the chat. Don't be a dick. The dicks are very, very limp these days. I think we're out dicking them. So thank you for the fine moderation on Vinny DiMartini, motherfucker. Who else is here? All right. Thanks. So we're all here, right? So let's look at some of the. Let's see. What I'd like to do is, you're going to see my footage. Unfortunately, I don't have it together. I actually had to sleep last night. In terms of the curfew, right? It was a curfew in New York City, and the allegedly the curfew was at 8 p.m. And I could tell you, at 8 p.m., man, that fucking rally was roaring, and nobody was leaving. And they kept moving it around. And the rally, for me, broke up probably a little after 11 p.m. because it got to a point where the police had cornered the troops, and I was right in the middle of that shit. And I was like, okay, it's time to walk the fuck out of here. So I escaped because I don't have press credentials on me. I'd have to explain to them that I'm what I'm doing and why I'm there, and to avoid that, a series of other looting occurred. The violent part of the protest occurred after I left. I saw in the Post a little bit, and some arrests. But it was the scale of the protest was less, the mainstream media is saying, last night. But it was a picture perfect of how the operation works. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? And the operation is always changing. It's not like I'm throwing the protesters under the bus. I'm just telling you that the operation constantly changes. The direction in which they walk is navigated by where the police are at the time, and they move it around like a military operation. It's like, you remember the scene in Dances with Wolves when the British guy, right? Who was it? Kevin Costner, I think, played the part, and he was talking about how the Indians move, and he said it was like a military operation where they were so organized and so together that the tightness of the unit is what makes it powerful, right? The coming together of troops in the field. That's what they are. They're troops embedded. They're troops on the ground. And the closer they stay together, you hear them saying, stay together, close the gap, don't walk out in front, get off the sidewalk, stay in the pack, stay in the middle of the pack. And when you go and you investigate the middle of the pack, it's a lot of young people, it's 20-something-year-old girls, holding hands, having fun, smoking, and all around them is this chaos of police trying to break it up, and they can't. Another analogy is when you see ants, right? You see ants, they cling together, and it's almost like you can pick the whole fucking team up, right? And it's like a ball, and you could squash them and nothing happens, right? They're resilient, right? Power in the unit is what I'm trying to say, is what I observed. And when I release the video, you guys could watch it, and then I'll speak more on it when you know what the hell I'm talking about. But I want to surf. Cuomo, I'm reading the comments. Cuomo hurt by de Blasio's feelings yesterday. Those guys are idiots. Between Cuomo and de Blasio, they're total fucking idiots. They could, if the NYPD wanted to shut it down, if there were, they could do it. They could, bring it to violence very, very quickly, because that's what the police do. Right? All they have to do is block off the blocks and just, hold everybody in, right? But again, because of the size of the crowd, you're talking about 1,000 people, 1,000 young people walking down the block. It's it's a phenomenon. I mean, I was blown away by it. The whole night, I couldn't believe. I even talked to some of the some reporters, guys with cameras, and one guy told me, he says, I never seen anything like this. I never seen an operation, quite like this, right? And who's leading it? They're not friends. It's not like everybody knows each other. It's just it's a coming together of the bees, coming together. And is it working? They've got the president talking about it. President of the United States is talking about bringing in the troops. The mayor and the governor are tripping over themselves to justify what's going on. It's got international press. They broke 5,000 windows in New York City in the last 5 days, smashing windows and taking stuff out of the stores. Right? Do we feel sorry for the stores? I do if it's a small business. If it's a large corporation, they're going to get their insurance money. They're going to get their money. But so you know what I mean, motherfucker. Just give me a second. Let me gather here. Gather. Okay. So that's that. So let's talk about the mainstream media spin. And I want to just talk about what they saw as opposed to what I saw. So looters strike several New York City stores, but curfew appears to curb chaos. Well, it didn't curb chaos. It just lessened the amount of it. The chaos was still there. It was just a smaller amount, a smaller dose. Looters struck in Manhattan again on Tuesday, though the damage appeared to be a much smaller than the outright chaos of the previous night. The cops seen making several arrests outside of stores. I didn't see any cops making any arrests in the whole time I was with them. But then again, I bailed out right at that moment when police started, police on cops started fucking flying on the sidewalk, chasing people and such. It got really crazy. It got really violent, right? So the police against the people. Videos posted on social media by reporters show that NYPD making arrests after a group broke into Zara on Broadway and Vesey Street near the World Trade Center. I didn't see anything go down that far. Where I bailed out was in Greenwich Village. So I don't know if those people got all the way down to I didn't see that part of it. So that's speculation at this point. A PBS reporter said he witnessed a brawl erupt outside the clothing store as protesters attempted to stop the looting. I have that footage. I was standing right there when that happened. So when you watch my video, you'll see what happened was protesters are protesting. They're walking by, and all of a sudden, the vandals kind of peel off, and things start breaking all around you. You just start hearing crash, and glass falling. And what happened was, some of the protesters are peaceful. They're all mixed in. The peaceful, most of the 95% of the protesters are peaceful. And they peeled off out of the crowd to stop the violence, to stop the bashing, breaking shit. Stop, that's what they're actually saying. Stop breaking shit. Stop breaking shit. Cut it out. So I actually saw that. And in this case, a fight actually, two guys swinging it out, pounding each other over the fact that some say violence is the way to go, and others are saying peaceful protest. Now, what is the rationale? The media will cover the violence. That's all they care about. How many windows were broken? How many people were arrested? How much shit was broken and stolen? That's all the media cares about. But what happens to the message? The message they're trying to get out is black youth are being decimated across the country. That's their message. That's whether you're with that or not, right? Is not the point. The point is that they're with it, and that's their issue. Everybody has a different issue. People watching this video have an issue. Oh, I'm with Q. Everything's a conspiracy. Everything is this and that and the other thing. And I'm the same way. We're all the same like that. We all have our issues. For me, the issue is oligarchy. Is the large corporations and banks are choking out the people, right? And the politicians are corrupt and such. That's my issue. That's my focus. But for them, it's how does it affect them immediately? And it's police brutality, it's racism, it's discrimination. It's all these things, right? Whether it doesn't apply, it doesn't hit me in the heart, but I see that it hits them in the heart. Is what I'm trying to say. So there's two sides of the what I noticed, that there's two sides of the protesters. Some are violent and some are not violent. So here's just some footage. I guess we'll look at their footage. So there's the mainstream media showing images of a black man being arrested for breaking shit, as if they're doing their job. I didn't see any of it. Did not see a single person be arrested. All I saw was throughout the whole time was the protesters outwitting the police all the way to 11:15. I was right in the middle of it. I was in front, right, the whole time. So I didn't see any of this bullshit. So maybe it's a scattered incident. I don't know. In another break-in, 5 men used bats and crowbars to tear off wood panels from Nostrum Rack on 31st Street and 6th Avenue. I was standing right in front of it. That was where the fight broke out. And were people carrying bats and crowbars? Yeah, they were. They were carrying crowbars and bats. I saw them. Kids walking down the street with a fucking, a Louisville Slugger and crowbars and other things too. Whatever they could swing. Right? It's very. I'm telling you, it was very, very. The way they did it was just so slick, and you'll see it in the videos as they smash windows. Were scared off. They, New York Post typo. They were scared off by cops and ran away without stealing anything, the witnesses said. About 30 minutes later, workers were spotted barricading the store again with wooden panels. There was quite a bit of independent security on the ground. That's true. I did see that. And this is where the fight broke out. I saw this. I was standing right there. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. That's just a mall. They just broke the window. And we saw plenty of that. And this is the Nostrum window. They peeled the boards off and tried to go back in, I guess. I don't know what was going on. Here's some footage of... There's just people snatching stuff out of the window. See, this is like... See the windows dropping. They're constant... I couldn't count how many times I heard windows dropping throughout the window. You're not always standing in front of it because they peel off around the perimeter of the protest. The protest blocks it, and they peel off, and then that's where the destruction is done. It's a shame, said Peter Bellingham, 26. This guy is a small business owner getting... Yeah, okay, we can feel sorry for the small business owner, but anyway. So that's... What else? What else are they saying? So they closed off Soho. They closed off the Soho district of New York City, allegedly, but that's where a lot of the unless they close off every block, these guys are just going to, the swarm is just going to go in. If the swarm decides, if the 1,000 people swarm decides they're going to go into Soho, they're going to go into Soho. The only place they couldn't go into was Times Square because Times Square was totally barricaded. The police had built an entire barricade around Times Square. So the swarm just went down one block and up 6th Avenue and right around it. Just went right around Times Square downtown, right? So I can't emphasize enough how many times they crossed Manhattan. They went from Foley Square, which is all the way downtown, all the way up almost to Central Park and 59th Street, right? And then at one time go up the west side all the way up to like 90th Street and then back down, all the way back down through Times Square, left, right, let's head east. Then you're in the East Village, then you're in the West Village. I'm in shape, right? And I was able to keep up with it, right? But it was a grueling chase is what I'm trying to tell you. Right? It was pretty fucking amazing. Amazing to watch. So what else we got here? This is going to be a short video because I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of editing, right? Marcus has balls to the wall. I tell you, I was nervous. I've been in New York City my whole life. I'll speak for that. I've been in New York City my whole life, and what I was worried about is, number one, being fingered as media, as being a snitch, as being someone who can't be trusted with the videos they're taking. That was a fear of mine because you could just be standing there with your camera and all of a sudden you get clunked on the back of the head and there's no recourse. What are you going to do? You're going to lay there until the police come, say, oh, there's a protester down. Leave him there for a while, right? You know what I'm saying? So my issue was building rapport with the protesters and trying to be as invisible as I can. I didn't narrate a lot of it. It's just handheld camera on what was going on, right? And so that was my fear. And I was, as the night went on, I realized that I had acclimated into the crowd enough. I had, transformed into the crowd. I looked like them. I was moving like them. I was at their pace, at their speed. Therefore, I become invisible. Right? I'm no different than the guy standing next to you. That was what I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do while I was trailing this crowd. Right? To actually become part of the thing as an embedded media, right? They don't know that that's what you're doing. They think you're just some protester with a camera, right? So that's which is essentially what I am. So in terms of having balls, I was able to, try to. I only had balls when I realized that the safety was in the center of the crowd. It's so hard to explain. If people have military training, maybe they understand it. How when you're in the center of the crowd, when you stay with the tightness of the crowd, there's safety in that unit, right? And so yeah, I only lost my balls when a cop came flying at me, and the guy next to me and fell off the bike. A cop comes sliding on his fucking stomach, like right to and I was like, what is that, a cop or is that one of the biker guys? And it was a cop. It was two cops. So fucking sloppy. So stupid. Right? I missed the shot because I turned the camera off while he was coming at me. I turned the camera off and turned around and ran. Right? But then he falls off the bike. Cop falls off the bike and slides on his stomach at me. What an idiot. Right? What a fucking idiot. So George Floyd protesters arrested in New York City shortly after the curfew. Didn't see any of this. This is a sham story right here. George Floyd protesters were arrested in Lower Manhattan on Tuesday night, shortly after city's 8 p.m. curfew. Total bullshit. Right? There were thousands of people still roaming around the street, roaming up, roaming down. I was at the crowd was at Columbus Circle at exactly 8 p.m. You'll see it in the video. I shine it on the camera up in Columbus Circle. 8 p.m. There was 1,500 people on the street marching, evading the police, heading up the Upper West Side. So to say that a few people were arrested in Lower Manhattan is frivolous, really. It wasn't immediately clear what led to the arrests, which, according to one witness, amounted to about a dozen people. A dozen people. I didn't see any of it. I saw none of that. Why are you yelling at them? One protester could be heard yelling. You can hear a lot of yelling in my videos. Let's look at the pictures. So here's a kid getting arrested, another guy getting arrested, another person. They're showing all the arrests. I didn't see any of this. This is broad daylight, and the people are getting arrested. What did they do? There's a girl being arrested. This guy got his head cracked open. I didn't see any heads getting cracked. I saw no cracking of heads, maybe towards the end when I bailed out. And some people handcuffed and protesting. Protesters handcuffed. People were saying, where's the old people? Miss Michigan, old people or black people or both, Vinny? Oh, you guys are talking to each other. I'll step out of that. So it's unacceptable. Police chief breaks down after protesters set fire to home with child inside. Just a side note, this was not in New York. A Virginia police chief grew emotional as he re-encountered rioters torching a home with a child inside, saying it was unacceptable. Now, I didn't see any fire. I didn't see anything like that, and that was one of the things that scared me as well. That the protesters would start breaking out with Molotov cocktails and burning buildings. Now, if it comes to that, remember, every storefront in Manhattan are usually piled on top of residential homes or commercial places. A lot of times they are residential. So if you're gonna torch a shop in Soho, there's people that live there. I mean, people live in Soho. So that was another fear of mine. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any. All I saw was the crashing of the windows, the broken windows, a little bit of looting, not much of it. Mostly the crashing windows. And I didn't see any fire bombs. I didn't see any torching whatsoever. So I feel this guy's pain. Some psychopath repeatedly stopped to compose himself as he detailed how protesters blocked the fire department from responding to a multifamily residence that was set ablaze Sunday during the George Floyd demonstrations. You hear the George Floyd name mentioned over and over again. Again, that's their issue. Put the issue aside. Just look at how effective or lack thereof of a movement it is. That's what I'm trying to get to. They prohibited us from getting on the scene. So this guy is all butt hurt about his police and his fire department being diverted from a bunch of psychopaths that burned down someone's house and called that a rally. Right? That's psychopath shit, right? And that's the shit that gets highlighted in the news. Cops fatally shot a gun-wielding suspect accused of shooting man in Brooklyn. I want to talk for a second about this because while this news was breaking, I wasn't following the news, but while this news broke yesterday night, that news got to the protest. And there was a moment where they talk about it. They said another black man in Brooklyn just got shot. Right? And that's when you could argue that's when the violence escalated based on that news. So this news, cops fatally shot gun-wielding suspect accused of shooting man in Brooklyn. It resonated. It resonated in the crowd. So let's see. So here's the gun. Here's probably the mother. There's a bunch of fat cops looking for bullets on the ground. More fat cops. Kingsburg housing. Right, so this had an effect on that rally last night. The first officer, police on Tuesday night fatally shot a gun-wielding suspect accused of shooting another man at a Brooklyn housing complex, police said. The first officers to arrive at Kingsborough House in Crown Heights at about 9:30 p.m. encountered a man who was shot and were told by residents that the suspect was nearby, according to police. So the cops assassinate a man based on something other people told them that he shot somebody. Oh, this guy's got a gun and he shot somebody. Cops then found the armed suspect hiding behind a tree a block away from Bergen Street. From there, the officers gave orders for the male to drop the weapon for over a minute. Oh boy, they gave him 60 seconds. But the suspect refused. Chief of Department told reporters about 10 uniformed police officers then opened fire on a guy. Now, if you're from a Second Amendment state, where you have a right to bear arms, this guy is not doing anything wrong. He has a gun. He's not shooting anybody. He's not pointing it at anybody. He's not firing off at the police. And what did the police do? They assassinate him. Right? 10 ununiformed officers opened fire on a guy, a suspect, without any proof or evidence that this guy did anything wrong. And that's what infuriates this crowd. Infuriates them. It's police brutality right in the face. Does it have anything to do with the rally? Does it have anything to do with the night's occurrences? It has everything to do with the night's occurrences. It has everything to do with the issues that they're talking about. Police brutality, targeting black youth, fear of black youth, right? That's their issue. Right? And here it is, again, doing it right out in the open. It's unclear how many times the suspect was hit. 10 cops unloading their guns on the guy. He was hit a whole bunch of times, a whole bunch. But he was declared dead at a nearby hospital. Moynihan, I don't know who that is, said the police-involved shooting was captured by police body cams, where officers and residents alike could be heard pleading with the suspect to drop his gun. I don't know. It doesn't say that the suspect shot him. The suspect has a gun. Okay, you can't approach somebody. The police have to kill you if you have a gun. Think about it. Put yourself in his position for 1 second. What he did is irrelevant. Now, if the police is saying put your gun down, he should have done that. But the fact is, he didn't open fire on the cops. And what are the cops going to do? Cops will say, "Oh no, we shot him before he shot us." That's what they say. The shooting also captured by witnesses and posted on Facebook accounts. The man shot by suspect was taken to the hospital and is in stable condition. Oh, really? So this incident, the chief of police says, this incident is not related to ongoing protests. You idiot. It has everything to do with the ongoing protest. It's police brutality. They can't even call it what it is. It's bad policing. Shooting a man, 10 cops shooting a man because he has a gun and was suspected of something. A suspect. Shooting him dead, killing him. He's dead now. No coming back. No do-over. No. He got 10 9mm pistols unloaded on him. And that's the reality of it. Does it piss you off? If you put it into that perspective and you put yourself in the position of the protesters, it infuriates them. And what happens? Now the windows drop. So they pull out the crowbars. I had about 9. This news broke about 9:30 in the crowd. By 10:30, there was fucking glass all over the place. Right? Okay, so you see what's happening. Champs also said that the shooting was totally isolated, that there was no protests in the area. They don't fucking get it. They just don't get it. It has nothing to do with the protest per se, the events of the protest, but it has everything to do with the issue of police brutality. God damn it, NYPD, the issue of police brutality. Mark Conte reporting. So good morning, everybody. So I'm gonna end this now because I want to. I feel like I have a lot to say. I want people to see this footage that I have, and I want to get down to it. So thanks everybody for joining me, and it's going to be good. We'll talk more about the video that I'm going to put up after I put it up. Let me cut it together. It's going to be very raw. I'm not going to edit. I want everybody to see what I saw from the beginning to the middle to the bitter end, and you'll see it. Just watch it all the way through, and you'll see you'll listen to the conversations between the people, how they navigate, how they navigated this thing. It's not going away. That's the main thing. This is only the beginning of what's to come. Right? What are they going to do? Instead of opening the city, they're shutting the city down. The whole fucking downtown Manhattan and all over Manhattan is boarded up. That's not reopening. They're killing the economy is gone. Right? It is officially a ghost town. Those businesses are done. They're done. When are you going to open it? How are you going to get this thing back up and running? It's official. This is what it's going to come to, where you're going to have these roaming gangs, just breaking shit because there's no opportunity anymore. That's the essence of it, right? There's no more opportunity, and it's just bad navigation by the politicians. Open up. They should have done it. Instead, they're shutting down more and more, and now we're into trying to pseudo curfews and punish people who have absolutely nothing to do with this. Let them open the stores up. Right? There's a buffer in a lot of eyes on the street. When you take away the people on the street to see what's going on, that's when the vandals take over. Because if it's only vandals versus police, the vandals are going to win every time in this war, in my estimation, and based on what I saw. So anyway, let's listen to this. Listen to some YouTube music. I don't know if I like this song. I don't know if I like it. So thanks everybody for joining me. I'll put up the video as a premiere so we can do the chat in the thing. I'll put it up in a little while. I'll be in the live chat. We'll talk it out if you guys want to pick my head. Whatever. The video speaks for itself. Right? The stuff speaks for itself. So thanks everybody in the chat. Sterling Price is in the house. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Sterling Price on the wrench. Thank you guys for your moderation. George's son is still here. We still don't know who George is. Miss Chicago is here. Miss Chicago is in the house. Christian Lifetime, New York City. Jason Walsh, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Become a Patreon of the channel. That's how I do it. That's how we do it here. That's how we fly. That's how we win.